Growing up with my music, 2022 has been a cool year for me also concept-wise. We started with my Attack of the Drones show this festival season. It was a test, 3 test shows, because we want to make it really big like for the festival season of 2023. Also adding more drones, that kind of stuff. And music-wise, yeah, for me it was a great year, I have to say. Hard to Tell, Supremacy Anthem, did a remix for Anger Fist. Just played the remix for Sam Smith and Unholy yesterday for the first time. So yeah, it's a lot of cool stuff going on. What inspires me the most future-wise is that I always want to be 3 steps ahead, and that's for me also with my team. The main focus is just, okay, what can we do to also do something that people are like, okay, yeah, that's something new. So I'm started to work on orchestration, composing for orchestra, also recording with orchestra, that kind of stuff for a lot of my new tracks. I did also a test orchestra show on my Supremacy set last September. It worked like a charm, I have to say. It was also really, yeah, you need to get familiar with the musicians because they all play like in the big orchestras in Holland, and they obviously only play like Beethoven, Mozart, Vivaldi and that kind of stuff. So then when you give them music that has like a 155 BPM kick on every beat foundation, obviously it was kind of a switch for them, but also for them it was like, okay, our audience is really young, because I think the classical music audience is, wow, well, probably 50 plus. And it also gave them a lot of new insights and gave me also a lot of inspiration to go into the studio again and work on new music. And that way I also produce with the vision of, okay, how can we do this live on stage later with an orchestra? For me as a producer, it's the most interesting thing is to keep pushing yourself and always go to a next level, because there's always a next level. There's never, people say there's a ceiling everywhere. Well, for me, that's bullshit. There's no ceiling. You decide where the ceiling is, and eventually, the way you want to go, there's always a possibility to get there. Only you just have to figure out if it's left, right, straight, or whatever. So I think that's been my COVID period, and also it really influenced my look on music and also my look on, okay, how can we do new shows and new things and big things, and what's going to happen. In 2022, we are really with the team really like thinking about, okay, 2024, 2025. That's basically the vision. So about kicks, there's only one thing I wanted to say that's the most important thing. There is no right way to create a kick. When you start, you try to copy someone or get close to that sound, and that's, I think, a really great way to get familiar with the ways of production. How can I create a certain sound? But then when you're there and you're like familiar with the techniques and that kind of stuff, okay, throw it all away, all the stuff you made, and now you're going to create, with that knowledge, you're going to create something that's signature you. That's not Sub-Zero Project, that's not Disturb, not Active Rage, not Noise Controllers, not Headhunters, not Anger Fist. It's you. And I think that's also the way that, back in the day you could hear a Deepak track, you're like, okay, Deepak. Okay, one kick, Psychopunks. One kick, Anger Fist. One kick, Headhunters. In the beginning, Headhunters and Wildstyles were really close together, but eventually they all took their own path, and now you can really hear like, okay, this is a Headhunters track, and this was a Wildstyles tune. So eventually, what do you want to do? Nothing is good or bad. That's also a thing. If you like a resonated punch, go for it. But if you want to like have like the low 300, 400 hertz resonating, then go for that, you know. But do you want to do something like a horse galloping or whatever? Go that way. Don't get yourself influenced, because when I started in 2011, 2012, everyone in the scene said, what he's making, you'll play in Holland, but that's it. That's not international. You're not gonna make it. Blah, 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 blah. It was, and that just fired me up. Like, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna stick to my roots and stick to what my vision is. And then eventually now, 11 years later, here we are. But yeah, I think that's the most important thing. Go for your gut feeling and create. Create. No boundaries. Don't let anyone tell you what to do. If you think that's the right thing, that's what you're gonna do. And if it's getting popular or not, you'll see. But eventually, when you look into the mirror, you know, okay, I did the stuff I like, and I didn't do it because some label boss or whatever told me like, okay, do this because he's really famous because of this sound or whatever. When I come in on Monday, after the weekend, I give myself 30 minutes to come up with something. And it doesn't need to be the next hit, but just something musical, something that makes sense, you know? When that's not working, I shut off my computer, I'm going outside. I'm going to watch a movie because I'm really into movie scoring, whatever. I'm gonna, like, okay, there's a new movie with a Hans Zimmer score or whatever. I'm gonna watch it. Just sit, let yourself get inspired by other sounds, other things than the things you already know. For me, it could also be like watching a movie and there's some sample, like some aggressive sample, someone saying something. And you're like, okay, this is awesome. Okay, let's go into, for me, the studio always is like, okay, I had a dinner planned, okay, cancel. I'm gonna cancel the plans because there's something here. When you're in that vibe, that's when there is something magical going on because your brain is like, okay, this and I need this and this is a layer for there and then pop vocal, I can cut this, this kick, maybe I can add this, and then it creates itself basically. But when you're working on a track for 4 months, trust me, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen for me personally. So I think that's key. Just when you make music, get inspired and don't stay in your studio because this is your studio time. If you don't have anything, it's a creative job. If you're not creative at the moment, leave the studio because you're gonna make something that's terrible and you're gonna know that tomorrow when you're listening to it again and you're like, no, this is not working. So yeah, that will be my advice. Without us knowing, this story would unfold here. It was my tour managers, so now Johan is my tour manager, but back, it was 3 or 4 years ago, I think. Koen was my tour manager. And we had a great night over here. There was an after party going on. But everyone was just in the right state of mind. Okay, cool. We're flying back home and we're at my car and I'm like, okay, do you have my car key? He's like, yeah, I've got your car key. Where is it? I always put it in my, where my headphones are in my USB sticks. Oh, but it's not there. Yeah, it's there. 100% it's there. But I have to go to the office now because I have to do my album signing from Minus Militia back then. And the day after I had my solo show in Breda, the Radical Dome. So 11,000 people and it was a big deal. He's like, you always get your key with your passport, right? So no, it's in here. We called you guys. So my car key was underground underneath the DJ booth. So we had to call the road assistants in Holland to get my car taken out. Then they had to break the window. They had to break open the door. So I had to get a new window, a new door, a new key. I missed my signing session, so eventually we had to arrange 2 cars for him to go home and for me to go to the office. And eventually you guys found my car key under the DJ booth here, downstairs, and sent it back to Holland. So and that was his last gig for me as a tour manager. So I was like, well, Koen, I will never forget this.